conversations. Today, we're going to talk about honesty.
Is scary. It is.
It's not.
And here we go.
You know, we've talked a lot about, Seth and I have talked a lot about how we feel about honesty and the good about it and the difficulties about it. And I personally really love honesty. I think it's...
Well, I love it. It's just scary. Go ahead.
Tell me more.
I see great value in it. I see great value in honesty, but we'll get into it more. It's just scary. Go ahead, though. You see value.
I think the reason I find so much value in honesty, for me, it feels when we have the ability to be honest with one another, it feels it creates a closeness and a camaraderie that you don't get elsewhere. And even in Proverbs, it says that, I think Proverbs, let me look at my notes, Proverbs 24:26 says that an honest answer is like a kiss on the lips.
Oh, I read that one too this morning.
I think that's so interesting because I think that's how I feel. Like when somebody is honest with me, mind you, when I already know their heart for me, then I know they're being honest because they care.
Yeah.
And it does. It feels like a kiss on the lips. It feels like an intimate, honest, like kindness.
Yeah. Yeah, and almost not even, I mean, it's very intimate and it's kind and it's almost, I was going to say unusual, and what I mean by that is we don't, at least in our culture, we don't just go around kissing everybody on the lips, right? I mean, in other cultures that's more freely done, but in our culture you have a select one, or maybe, I know some families, parents and kids maybe, I mean in my family we didn't, but it's very personal and real, and so that creates, read that again, because that really creates quite a picture.
Proverbs 20:26, an honest answer is like a kiss on the lips.
Yeah, so it's very refreshing, very real, very, intimate and personal, and feels connected, right?
But I think our culture is not about honesty. Our culture is about being nice, which, if you're going to be nice, it kind of means you're not going to be honest. Which is part of why I hate being nice.
Yeah. So unpack that a little bit, though. So you said if you're going to be honest, you're not necessarily going to be nice.
Because being nice, the way our culture does it, being nice is, of course, there's the things like you hold the door open for somebody, you help somebody with their groceries if you're extremely aware and very nice.
Yeah.
But nice is also when you see somebody with a new haircut, you say, oh, I like your hair. Or you see somebody in a dress that really doesn't look good on them and you say, that's a really nice dress. I mean, it's straight up, to me, don't lie to me like that. And I think our culture is like, we need to be nice to each other.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I would rather somebody say, oh, you got a new dress. And I say, yes.
Yeah.
And they say, it doesn't look that great on you. I would rather know that because I'd rather be like, okay, I'm not wearing the dress again.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, again, depending who it's coming from. Depending their,
their motivation and their attitude towards it too, right?
And their status with me.
Yeah,
like if it's a stranger, I'm gonna be like, I don't care. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
And I'm also not gonna say something like that to a stranger. But if you're my friend and you're so involved, so immersed in the culture of being nice, I wouldn't even call you my friend then. If you're just gonna tell me something looks good when it doesn't.
I think definitions are important then, right? I mean, in any conversation, definitions are important. So like nice, I think we have to look at that. And if I hear you right, clarify if not, that, if you're just into being nice, in other words, you're trying to say what you think they want to hear.
Yeah.
Right? So somebody might think, well, you're not being nice, that means you're just being mean.
Right.
That if you're not nice, then you're mean. I think what you're saying is they're just trying to appease. And you're using nice in that way. Is that what I'm hearing? That, I'm going to tell somebody what I think they want to hear, rather than saying that thing that, oh man, that, I don't know if you want to wear that.
Yeah.
Right?
Like the politician is nice. He shakes the hands of everybody, kisses babies' heads.
Interesting.
Like he does all the right things, says all the right things to make you like him, to make you vote for him. That's, I don't that is not, that's not honest.
It's not honest. Interesting. Yeah. No, it's true.
And there's value in,
Yeah.
I have a whole thing between being kind and being nice. And be kind, yes.
Yeah, but the kind thing might be
That's different
hard
than-
to hear. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
our culture is so busy being nice that they're not being honest.
Yeah.
And that is my issue.
Well,
I
and
don't like that.
and it's interesting because you bring up culture. Another thing we have at play is personalities.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because personalities are a big play into this, where some personalities are just out there more, right? And more, almost naturally more honest. And
Yeah,
of course, that in
yes.
an unhealthy way, that can just be they're just a rude, mean person.
Right.
But in a healthy person whose personality is just out there more, they're going to
Yeah.
be freer with. Like, okay, here's a fun one, right? I think this is a decent example, and you played into this, so maybe you need to help here a little bit. But have you noticed my lovely locks? Okay, I'm growing my hair out on purpose, right? Now this is this 3 months longer than that probably?
Yeah.
Right, that I'm just letting it grow. I'm really on a charted course here of just letting it grow. So what am I going to look like in a year? I hope a ponytail, who knows, right? But I've had the funnest interactions. I find them fun, but it's been interesting because I've had people say they don't like it. I've had people say, oh, don't do that. No man bun, right? And I've also had people say, you have the best hair, let it grow out, even though I'm in that awkward stage. So there's been some honesty there, I would say, but I suspect that the vast majority of people just haven't said anything. So it kind of comes
Right.
back to your point,
Yeah.
right?
But
Yeah.
you don't like, I know you like honesty.
This
but
is a
you
great
don't-
personality
This
thing, I
is
think.
this is part of our awkward conversation, right?
Yeah.
You don't like honesty,
No, not really.
But you do,
That's why
but
it's
you don't.
scary.
so you should talk about that.
Well, I think it's interesting because as I was thinking about this video and talking with you all, I was thinking, man, there's so many pieces and parts that play into this because then I think about my personality and part of why I don't want to be honest is because I don't want to be honest with myself. Because, yeah, she laughs because it's true. And here's the thing. I'm not afraid to be wrong. Some people have accused me in the past of, well, you just don't want to be wrong. And I don't mind being wrong. You know, when it gets pointed out to me that I'm wrong, I'm okay with that. What I'm afraid of is what's in there that I don't know about, right? This could also be, we won't go here, but this also could be a conversation on emotions, right? Because she'll ask me, how do you feel about something? And you know what my response is? Can I have a day or two? And I'll get back to you. And it's not because I'm unwilling to honestly share as much as I need time to dig through it. And I think this plays in when you talk honesty, because there's times when I'm like, wow, if I'm honest with myself, what am I going to find? And is it going to be unpleasant? Right? So,
And so what if it is?
well, it's scary. No, I mean, she makes a good point. So what if it is? And I'm one that likes to grow, and you have to hit those points where you need growth,
Yeah.
right, in order to grow, right? So consequently, you're right. So what if it is? I don't know. I think there's just something in me like, you know, I'll even have a thought that, well, you know, maybe it's image, isn't it? Right? I'm having revelation as I talk to you because it's image. Partly because you think about, well, maybe you won't like me as much. If this thing comes out that is true about me and I'm honest about it, then not just you, I mean, yes, you and
Right.
I, but anybody out there, maybe they won't like me so much or something at that point. And I guess I don't want that maybe naturally.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think, and that's part of one of the things that I thought about is that, you know, honesty equals pain. A lot of times.
No, it can.
There's
Yeah.
pain. When somebody's honest with you, there's also pain. But to
Yeah.
me, again, it's the proverb that says, faithful are the wounds of a friend.
Yeah.
If you're my friend, you might smack me around
Yeah.
verbally, but it's because you love me and you want my growth and you want to help see me grow.
Yeah.
It's the iron sharpening iron, so one person sharpens another. And to me, even though honesty can be painful, it also is what helps me grow.
Yeah.
Like
it
when
is.
I've had people say things that honest enough to make me cry. And I tell them, don't worry about my tears, because I want to know what you're saying. It just hurts in the moment. Doesn't mean I can't go away, contemplate, think about, ask God about, is that true?
Yeah.
That's the other thing, not just like, oh, well, it must be true because so-and-so said it, because there's 1,000 opinions.
Exactly.
But being able to go, ask God, is that true? And if it is true, then it's a moment for me to go, oh, I can change, I can grow. This is really good to see and know.
Yeah.
You know, I just expressed something in our staff meeting this morning that where I felt like I came off, you know, just not nice. And I realized it and I went, ugh, it hurts. I don't like how I feel about it. But it also made me go, that's great. Good news. Like, it's good news.
It's out there now.
I can change it.
Right.
I can adjust. And
Right.
and that's a growth point. So
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
it's healthy.
And as a disciple, as a believer, but specifically as a disciple of Christ, that's like huge.
Yeah.
Right? Because being a disciple is all about growing.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that honesty has to be there. I was just looking through here. There's just amazing scriptures, but Proverbs 11:3, the integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. Right? Their double-mindedness. They're seeing it one way and another way. And there's not a firm, honest perspective internally, or maybe even, between people, right? So it destroys you. Well, I don't want to be destroyed, right? Even though this can be scary. I like this one too, Proverbs 12:22. The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy. Now that's so interesting because it'd be easy to read that and say, oh, okay, well here's somebody the Lord detests, right? Oh, well that's not really the point of this.
No.
The point is he delights in people who are trustworthy. Okay, so he detests lying lips because then you're not trustworthy, right? And he knows that's not good for you, let alone good for other people, let alone good for relationship with him.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, awkward conversations with spouses, right? This isn't so awkward, but it's key. If I'm not trustworthy, if I have, how did it say it? If I have lying lips, she's eventually going to detest me, right? I mean, how many times can I lie?
So true.
And to some degree, in fact, largely, I think it's fair to say, this is where honesty is huge, is that's not on her at that point, it's on me. Now, if I am trustworthy and you detest me, then that's probably your issue.
Yeah.
But my goodness, I mean, people wonder sometimes, I think, why they have trouble in business or in relationships and friendships and marriages. And the honest truth is they're not trustworthy. And if you're not, then man, there's a big honesty issue going on.
Right.
And things just aren't good. And that's not on God, that's not on other people. I'm not saying other people don't play in, but it's largely typically on us, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
And I think it's really good when you say, if I'm consistently lying, or not even, I would even go so far as to say, not even straight up lying, but you're saying what you think I want to hear.
Yeah.
You're back to that. You're being nice.
So then,
Or like, how do I look? And you think I want to hear, oh, you look great. No, I want the truth.
Yeah.
And you say, you look good. And then I go out and my daughter, because she's real good about telling me the truth. Or my friends say something about, you shouldn't wear that, or that doesn't look good. Then it does make me distrust.
Sure.
And it does make me despise, hate, not you, but like, why would I ask? Why would I trust your opinion? Because you haven't been fully honest. And I think that's a line too, that fully honest versus like sort of honest. That's something else we could talk about. But I do think that's part of it too, is understanding if you're going to just be nice and you're just going to say what you think somebody wants to hear, that is going to turn against you. Like, because they are going to lose their trust. They are going to be like, I don't know if you're telling me the truth or not.
Right, yeah, there's no, and again, because there's not a background of it, so there's not a benchmark, so to speak, of trust.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know this
Yeah.
is hard too. I think about so many wives. Does this dress make my butt look big? and
Yes,
the
ma'am.
husband is like, I'm not answering that truthfully.
Right.
And I think it's unfair because I do think a lot of women want to hear the husband say, "You look great, honey." But I think that's part of it too, is understanding, when personality plays in and when you're in that kind of a relationship.
Yeah.
I actually want to know if my butt looks big because I want to change my clothes. Like,
That brings it into real life.
and that's a whole other. We could go.
I'm not
down
saying
that
you
road.
have a big butt. That's not what I just said.
But I think, anything, there are people who say anything that hurts makes you stronger. And I mean, we
No.
can debate that.
Unless it kills you.
Right. But
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said about honesty that even when it stings a little,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Remember in the movie Liar Liar, hit me again, this time put some sting on it. I think about the idea of like honesty can be that smack, it can be that painful,
Yeah.
but it can be out of a heart of love. And I think
Yeah. Which is
that's
huge. I mean,
part of
that's
it too,
it's
is
crazy. Big
if
part.
I'm going to go in and be honest with somebody, it's crucial to me that they know my heart for them.
Yeah.
And
no, it
if
is.
they don't
Absolutely.
already know my heart for them, I'm going to make sure that's very clear before I say something that's going to be painful.
Right.
And hopefully
Yeah.
that works out.
Yeah. You and I bumped into something accidentally a while back. We're right now you're watching this video and we're filming in our home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we built this home. We've lived in it 3 years, and we had worked 16 months, I believe it was, from groundbreaking till we moved in.
Mm-hmm.
So we had worked for all that time. Now Saundra and I love doing projects like this together, and we're pretty good at working together on these things because I take care of the once we have a plan together, I'll get all the infrastructure together, get the frame up, get all that, and then she comes in and does the design work. Well, we hit something really that surprised me. I think it surprised both of us. We moved in, and do you remember what I did in our bathroom? That's a weird thing to say, but for the first probably almost 2 months, I used our old towels. Do you remember
Yes.
that?
Drove me crazy.
Right, but you didn't say anything.
Duh.
Right?
We're a team.
Right.
The towels that I purchased are not just my towels. Like,
Right.
I bought new
And
towels
I know this.
for us to use.
Right.
But no, he's using
But
old
I'm
crap
using the old towel. So we went a couple months, if I remember right. She didn't say anything. I didn't either until finally I stopped. And this is again, we're kind of coming back a little bit. I didn't mean to do this, but to a personality thing, right? Because different people, you and I interact with honesty different.
Yeah.
And therefore in relationship different. But I finally, after a couple months, stopped and went, wait, hold on. Why am I doing this? And I discovered I didn't feel like this was my house. Remember that?
But I didn't remember that you realized it because
Well,
I
you
finally,
may have
my
you may have finally said something. Tell your piece.
my view of the story
I think you finally
goes,
said something.
babe, there's new towels up there on a shelf. Those are not just my towels. You can use those towels.
And I don't remember how I responded immediately, but internally, I think I'd already been processing a little bit, but then you said something and I went, oh my goodness. And if she didn't do anything wrong. This is part of how we do these things. I told her, you always come to me and ask opinions, but basically I turn her loose on the design, right? And so then we finally move in. We've worked for months and we finally move in and I feel like a stranger in my own home.
Yeah.
And consequently it showed up in the towels and you finally said something and I'm like, yeah, I felt like this isn't mine. And it wasn't anything she did, but it was between us. It was good that we finally had that conversation and we were able to break through it. I think I did finally.
He finally used the new towels.
Finally used the new towels. But again, honesty, right? And I think at that point it was important for me to be able to say to you, but also to be honest with me, why is that going on? And come on, that's a silly example.
Right.
But it gets to the heart of things. And I think even on deep, what would be considered deeper issues where honesty is needed, the process isn't isn't so different. You know, the process of being real and honest with your own heart, but also then being real and honest with others. And that's going to play out in different ways. We're not answering all the questions of this today.
Right.
But honesty's a big deal.
I do think, though, it's good to know.
It's important.
Those little things that just seem like little, to me, I was super annoyed because I'm like, what the heck? Why aren't we using the new towels?
Yeah.
But I think those little things, like, it's good, just as a side note, this is a little bit of a rabbit trail, but good to know those little practical things with your spouse or, you know, with somebody you're close to, understanding that those little things, when I said something, it helped him go, wait, why am I doing that?
It did.
Which helps find those deeper issues. And I think that's super important just in a relationship, that you are willing to say, why is this happening? With no judgment, with no assumptions, just tell me what's going on in your head or your heart that this is happening. And maybe I'm seeing it wrong. So those questions are huge.
Yeah.
So that's a rabbit trail. But I just think coming back to the idea of honesty is of great, great value. And if you're not given towards honesty, if you don't already love it, open your heart. Maybe ask yourself why you don't like it. And recognize the reasoning for that, because maybe that will help open you up to honesty is a good thing. I can find joy in it. I can find growth in it.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, and I would add to that as one that comes at it from honesty feeling a bit scarier, right? In my personality, I would add to that, it's worth it, right? It's worth pushing through. You know, she has things that are harder for her than for me that I easily navigate through.
Yes.
So this is true with anybody, but in this case, she more easily navigates through some of this than I do. But I'm just going to add to what she was saying, that it's worth it, right? It's those areas where it's easy, enjoy those, right? And embrace them. But these areas, maybe it's a little harder, man, still value it, but be willing to push through. And that's mostly internal, right? I mean, that's in your own heart. That's your thing, I guess, right? But do you get value from that when I push through?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I do too. When you push through your hard areas, I reap benefit, which is kind of cool. And I suppose, I don't know, do you have other, we probably should wind up here, but did you have other key things?
I was just going to share, you know, Philippians 4:8 has that whole list. Think on these things, whatever's true, whatever's worthy, noble, worthy of respect. Noble. Like, there's so many points in there that we're supposed to actually think about. Yeah. And one of those is whatever is true.
Did you say that's Philippians 4:8 and 9?
Philippians 4:8, and 9. Well, I would say 4:8. But anyway, whatever is true, think on those things. So even in our thought life, it's important to be honest and pause long enough to go, wait, is that true? Yeah. When I'm thinking about this thing, is it true? And I think that's just honesty and point. True is huge. Yeah.
I almost think that your point there, that's almost where it plays out even more, I think, for most people than actual verbal spoken things and interactions, but that thought life issue. Yeah. And that there's other places where that thought life is so critical, but certainly with honesty, it is too. Yeah. Cool. Anything else?
I have nothing.
No.
I mean, I could talk for a while. But.
Yeah. Well, I hope you've gotten something out of this. We're going to have fun. We're going to do these monthly. Plus, there will be an archive of it, so who knows when you'll be watching this. But our goal would be to give you value and just to be real and honest and with with our lives and sharing with you. And we'll have fun. We'll take on some hard topics and some controversial topics and just some fun stuff too. Yeah. So God bless you guys.
Yeah.